Gravy.
What's going on, YouTubers? We'll quality content here, and welcome back to another episode of Is It Over Yet? I'm your host, James Blair, and this is my co-host for this week, Jackson Cavers. I almost said Jack Kachkowski. He's dead. He's never coming back to the
Dweller
show.
Jack has disappeared.
Actually, we'll probably see him in a future episode. Hopefully. Probably. The last few episodes have been without him, which is sad. But today, we are going to be reviewing House Shark, released in 2018 and directed and written by Ron Bonk. This is the first shark movie I've reviewed on this show, and it won't be the last shark movie I review.
It's gonna be my last shark movie.
Yeah. Weakling.
No, that was quite the spectacle.
This movie is it's something.
It's awesome.
It's so awesome.
It was one of the
awesome.
greatest movies I've ever seen. No, it was terrible. It was god awful.
It's so awesome. Stephen Hawking said that.
He did say that?
It's so awesome, 3 stars. So, this movie is about a shark in a house. It's, like, the catchline is, it's Jaws in a house.
And it literally is Jaws. The 3 characters, a shark expert, a cop, and a fisherman.
Yes. So, okay, first of all, spoiler alert, if you want to watch this movie before you see this, don't watch this movie. Just watch this.
It's not worth the hour and 52 minutes.
2 hours, almost 2 hours.
It's an hour 52.
Yeah. But, yeah. And if you haven't seen this show before, the show goes in 3 prime sections. The intro, which I just did. The plot explanation, where me and Jackson here explain the plot of the movie. And the reverse review, where we each give the movie a rating out of 5. 1 is a decent movie, and 5 is the worst movie ever seen, and we combined our scores for an out of 10 score.
Nice.
The lowest they can get is 2, and the highest they can get 10. So, yeah, let's just start explaining the plot. So, basically, it starts off with a father. His name is Frank. He lives in a house, and he's leaving his son Theodore with a babysitter because he has a date. And after he leaves for the date, the babysitter tucks Theodore in, and she sees. No, she doesn't see it, but she looks in the bedroom and she sees noise. And after she is done and she walks away, a fin goes across the screen. And that is the first sign of the house shark on camera.
And then she goes to the bathroom, and for some strange reason, she's
the
only person.
A couple hours pass, and then she goes to the bathroom, and you can explain this part.
This is by far one of the worst images I've ever seen. She goes to the bathroom fully nude, and then the shark goes up her butthole. And then
the shark uses the toilet to attack her, and he grabs her by the butt and pulls her into the toilet. And the dad gets back by that time, and he watches her get pulled into the toilet, and then he sees the fin, and he's like, oh my god. Damn you, house shark!
I will never unsee that, ever.
Damn you, house shark! So then it cuts to 2 months later, and he won't even go in the house with his son, so his son and him are living out in a tent in the backyard.
Eating beans for breakfast, lunch, dinner, every single day.
Yeah. We're living the life. And he sold the house to a real estate company. Well, he gave the house to a real estate company, but he won't let them sell it because he won't let anyone inside. And as his words, as he's talking to his wife, who gets there and is picking up her son to take him to her house.
And then we never hear from those 2 characters for the rest of the movie.
Yeah. And what he says when he is describing what he would do to the house rather than sell it, he would say he wants to demolish house and then burn the house and then burn the ashes of the house and then put the ashes into a canister, fire the canister into the sun, and then proceed to nuke the sun because that house has a house shark in it.
And house sharks are some of the most deadly creatures.
Yes. And this is how he describes the shark. These are exact words from the movie. It violates my every orifice with its twisted, perverted mind. It's got a penis and boobs too, like a she-male, and it tricks you it's a woman until you're home alone and you're all naked and you think, hey, why let my first boner go to waste? And before he's stopped by his wife.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. His
hated
wife doesn't have a character name except Ladybird, who he calls her, who he tells everyone else that is there. That's what her name is. So after his wife leaves, it cuts to a real estate company, Reagan Real Estate, and a guy named George, the real estate agent, is talking to his boss, who is talking about the history of the company and how they're like the top of the line of real estate. And he's talking about like how 2/4 of the, no, not 2/4, but like 2 point whatever of the population.
2.5.
2.5 of the workers there, what happens to them if they don't get a good sale. And then he proceeds to slap the guy, slap George, the real estate agent, and threaten to kill him if he doesn't sell the house. And I thought that was a little bit harsh. So yeah. So then George sets up an open house without Frank's consent and lets a couple into the house.
The couple then proceeds to make love inside of the living room, and then the girl, this is the girl's exact words, "Stop, I don't want to get caught with your fingers up my butt."
Oh boy. This movie was special, ladies.
This movie was very
special. So the dog goes downstairs and is eaten, while Frank and George fight outside because they
Epic manly scuffle.
Epic manly scuffle, yes. They fight because Frank wants them out of the house and George just wants to sell the house, and while they're fighting, the couple inside the house are both eaten brutally by the house shark. And then after that, George goes back to George and Frank see the shark in action, and they're traumatized. So then George, after going to a police station and meeting with his wife and talking about something, he then goes to the library and researches on the types of sharks that he has seen, and he finds out that there's a new species known as a house shark, and there's only one person in the world that knows about them. Zachary, who is the shark hunter.
Expert.
Expert on this. And then it goes back to a real estate company, and they send out the new enforcer, Darth Swanlow. And you explain the next scene where Frank meets Darth Swanlow.
So, Darth Swanlow is introduced in a very Sith Lord kind of way. He appears behind Frank and then tells Frank that he's the best there is, and then Frank doubts him and then is
telekinetically pushed into a swing set before telekinetically be thrown and then telekinetically choked.
Yep.
By Darth Swanlow.
Darth Swanlow is probably the best character in the entire movie, hands down.
And he's only in for like 2 minutes.
And he dies.
But before that, a group of girls approach Frank. The leader of them kicks Frank in the balls, and then he says, "You killed my parents because you weren't in the house when they died, and now I have to get adopted." And that kind of sucks. But then Darth Swanlow goes into the house. He checks it out a little bit, and when he turns around, he's like, "I will save your house. Your house will be saved." And then the house shark comes up from behind him and eats him.
Yep. Which is unfortunate.
Rest in pepperoni, Darth Swanlow.
You will be missed.
So then it cuts to a diner, and the second base character in the movie is sitting at a table reading a newspaper about how an idiot thinks that if there's a shark in his house, he then gets enraged and goes to the real estate company. And he goes to the real estate company, and he meets with the boss, and he's like, "Abraham, you're back." And this guy's name, he's crazy. This guy's name is Abraham.
No, it's literally just Abraham Lincoln, bro.
Yeah, it's Abraham Lincoln.
It's a fat Abraham Lincoln who has
Yeah.
survived for 120 years.
Yes. Apparently, he was the first to be attacked by a house shark. He got both of his arms and both his legs ripped off.
And then sewn back on.
Yes. He is a true badass.
Very, very true badass.
So, then, after Abraham is dispatched by the real estate company, Frank, sleeping in his backyard, he meets Zachary for the first time. Zachary is a German boy. He is a German boy. He has this epic German accent, and he is wearing suspenders all the time.
That was
Weird.
quite the sight.
Yes. It was weird. Yeah. So he meets Zachary, and then they go to check up the house by looking in the windows, and when they're looking in one window, one of the bodies falls out of the window.
No, it falls just
into the window.
Yeah.
Falls into the window, and he's like, "Oh, this is a dead body. Why isn't it removed from the house?" And then Frank was like, "Well, it's too chicken to go in there because the house shark's in there." And what did he find on the finger?
They found an anus.
An anus on
Probably the women's.
anus.
Because think about it, that was the dude, and he said,
Yeah. I get it.
"Oh God, I just figured it out."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we didn't need to do that.
We did not need to do that.
Okay, let's just continue.
So then they look behind him, and Abraham is there, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, you guys looking for a house shark?" And he's always drunk.
Light is.
Yeah, the light is fucking well. Yeah, he's always drunk for no reason, other than funniness, funny haha moment.
That was a very funny haha moment.
Yes. So then they become best friends, and for some reason this movie has weird. It has weird transitions.
Everything.
Transitions. Because it shows like a post on Facebook or something.
Yeah, some sort of social media.
So then they're all in a bar, it cuts to them getting drunk, and then they arrive at the house shark house, they're like, "Oh, we're gonna do this." And they're all drunk, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, why can't we call the shark House Jaws?" Yes.
And that's
And
when the movie should have
ended.
been copyrighted. Or ended.
Or ended. Probably ended.
Probably ended. That would
And
be
then
this
it
one.
cuts to Frank and Zachary waking up in the tent, and Abraham throws hot water on them, which burns them.
very badly.
It like
But the
second
thing is-
degree burns.
Yeah, but the burns actually didn't really last that long.
Yeah.
Because remember, they just kind of disappeared after 2 scenes.
Yeah. After that, they get suited up. No, they don't get suited up yet. They barricade all of the windows and doors in the house with boards, and then they realize that they have to get inside the house, so then they have to unbarricade the door, and then
They go inside.
they
And
get
then-
geared up. Abraham pulls out this epic crossbow. Zachary puts on a backpack, and Frank has a 9mm pistol.
And specifically, Breda M9, I'm pretty sure.
Yes. So then they go inside. Abraham then locks the door
And then eats the key.
and then eats the key so that they can't escape. And then they go to the bathroom. And they just wait for the house shark to show up. And then a couple hours pass, and
Frank is taking a leak, just because he's a normal human.
He's taking the piece in the
And then he sees a shadow of the shark, so he slowly turns in that direction. And mind you, he's still peeing.
and he pees,
And then he pees
on Zachary's
in Zachary's mouth. That's. Yeah, I'm sorry.
And then Zachary gets up and he's like, "What the hell, man? What are you doing, man?" And then he's still peeing. And he's still peeing.
And then for
he's
some
still peeing,
reason,
he's
his
still
pee. This man has by far the hardest pee I've ever seen, ever.
peeing. Hardest pee?
No, I mean like stream pressure,
I believe this.
that
I believe that.
pressure, that kind.
Yeah. And then the house shark, It doesn't come in. It disappears. They all get up. Abraham gets up, and he disappears, and he comes out of the toilet and gets him in the bathtub.
And then they all scream
Bro, like,
for a while.
they don't even
They don't shoot it.
nothing.
And then
the movie ends. Nope.
that's when we wish the movie would end.
Like the second part of the movie, we're like, what? How much is it? 1 hour? 1 hour left of the movie.
Yeah, so then they move towards the living room and wait for the shark to come back. And then Abraham comes up with a genius idea
Yes.
to put on a female house shark
Costume.
which Frank dons. And then
We get probably one of the funniest scenes in the movie.
the house shark appears.
And Frank is like, and Zachary's like, go closer to the shark so he can get distracted. It's like, I am not letting the house shark have sex with me. And then Zachary's like, just the tip. No, not just the tip.
And then Abraham is reloading his crossbow during all of this because
It broke or something.
no, it's just I'm not even sure what happened.
Okay.
You just had to kind of pointlessly reload.
Yeah, and then he comes back when he's ready. It's gone. And it appears behind him again. And then he's like,
Very accurate representation there.
And then the house shark gets Abraham into a corner. He's like, he's kicking it in the face. He's like, and then he's like, oh no.
And then after the shark leaves after that attack, they discover something which is the plot twist of this movie. Zachary is actually a scientist and is not German.
He created the
House shark.
The house shark.
And it also has a plasma cannon.
It has a fin-mounted energy blaster.
Plasma cannon thing.
Yes.
Very efficient.
So they then put Zachary in the female house shark suit and
Lock him in a cage.
and then they start singing a song, and then the house shark comes and takes Zachary
To the basement.
where
Where stuff happens that we do not need to talk about.
Zachary gets
Boned.
gets boned by the house shark, and then so Abraham and Frank have to go downstairs and save him, but for some reason Zachary is like, oh, these guys couldn't save me, so I'm gonna get my revenge. So he puts the fuse in the thing upside down, which for some reason makes it explode.
Okay, well, let me just explain this. So,
Yeah.
you know how houses have like water thing?
Yeah.
I think. Do you have one just over there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hold on, I'm gonna go see what it's called.
He's going.
You're doing this mid-episode.
I'm doing mid-episode. Mid-episode, boys.
It's a water heater.
It is a water heater, yes. So then he then plugs the drainage hole. So then the thing breaks and the entire house fills with water. The entire house fills with water. They begin to be like, no, no. And then Frank and Abraham take the longest breath. They take.
In human history.
They hold the breath.
They
for
hold
like
their breath for 5 or 6 minutes.
5 or 6 minutes. Not for. No, that's not that long. But they hold their
It
breath.
feels that long.
Yeah. They swim underwater where it's clearly just a filter and they're just walking and they're going like this.
It was still very epic CGI.
Yes. So then they go downstairs. He tries to Frank tries to get the thing out of the water drain hole, and Zachary comes out for an epic underwater battle sequence.
And since everything's so slow, it's basically impossible to hit each other. So Frank is just ducking all the shots that Zachary is throwing at him.
And Abraham is blocking the shark, which is coming out of a thing, and with a table and a harpoon, and a crossbow. And then after that, Zachary runs away for no reason, and
Frank manages to unplug the drain hole, which shouldn't be possible due to the amount of suction being forced on it.
yeah. So the house gets drained of water, and they go back upstairs. Zachary and Abraham go upstairs, but I don't know where Zach. No, Abraham and Frank go upstairs, but Zachary is nowhere to be found.
But he shows up later on in post-credit scene that we talk about later.
And then the shark. So then they're like, we gotta kill the shark. So then the shark comes up, and he's like, shark. And then the shark is like about to kill them, and then the boss from the real estate company comes out, and he's like, he hits him with bat. He's like, he's hitting him.
And then he's like, decides to do the classic Men in Black move.
He pulls out a frag grenade. I don't know where he got that. And he's like, I'm going in, and he dives into the shark's mouth. But when it explodes, I didn't mention this before, but this shark has been genetically modified, so it is technically indestructible. So it just blows up and smoke comes out of its mouth. Also,
a fat blunt.
The actual shark is actually it's a decent practical effect. I think it's a practical effect.
I'm not even sure if it's a practical effect or a suit. It kind of looks like a mixture of both. Just
well, that's a practical effect, though. That's a practical effect.
Oh, I thought you meant like computer stuff.
No, that's CGI.
Okay, then.
Practical is like puppets or just made in general. And then after the guy dies, they run into the kitchen, and Abraham tries to crack the key out, but he can't. And then Abraham, after a long, and then the shark comes down, and the Abraham then proceeds to get eaten by the shark. And then for some reason he tells Frank to go reach his hand into his butt and take out the key, but that doesn't work. So then he's like, shoot me! I have drunken so much alcohol that my blood has technically turned to whiskey. So
making his blood flammable.
So then the shark comes at him and he shoots Abraham's foot, which causes a nuclear explosion that creates a massive crater
and basically recreates the Holocaust.
And so much Chernobyl. And so much pure crap gets blown in the air, it creates Fallout 76.
Was this all just the origin story for Fallout 76?
So much crap was blown in the atmosphere, it came back down as Fallout 76. Damn. Actually, I'm actually kind of excited about the human NPCs, but that's just me.
That's literally just you.
That's literally just me.
I'm sorry, but
it's okay. It's okay. But yeah, nuclear explosion.
And Abraham Lincoln's still alive.
Abraham Lincoln is just ahead now.
Yeah, even though he's decapitated.
So then,
and the credits roll as Frank tries to find Abraham's body parts.
And then after the credits roll, we have a post-credit scene of Zachary running out of the house onto a shed. And he's like, I can't hold it in forever. And he pulls off his shirt, and you can see like a baby shark, because he got boned by the shark.
Yep.
A baby shark coming out of his stomach like a chest burster from Alien. And then that is the end of the movie. 2 hours of my life.
2 hours of our life.
Yes. So, yeah, that was it. So, what would you rate this movie out of 5? 1 being the best and 5 being the worst.
So, in my opinion, it wasn't exactly a bad movie. It became good towards the end. They
just like the stupid jokes.
Yeah, with just the stupid jokes, and they started to actually make the plot good in the end.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of scenes that could have been better. So I'd rate it a 3.
Okay, I would rate it a 4 because of all the senseless nudity.
No, that's what makes movies good.
Yay! But still. Nudity, stupid plot, shark sex.
That didn't happen on camera.
It didn't happen on camera, though.
Which is like,
so,
we can see shark semen.
I don't want to know about that.
I'm sorry.
So the final rating is a crisp 7 out of 10. House Shark, everyone. 7 out of 10. So not the worst movie, but I would not watch it again. Ever. So yeah, that was House Shark, directed by Ron Bonk and released in 2018. This has been the end of this episode of Is Over Yet. I'm your host, James Blair, and this is my co-host, Jackson Scabbers. So yeah, please smash the like button, comment down below, share for us, subscribe to the Club. This is my boy Quad Content. See you next video. Goodbye.
Peace out.
Turn the camera off.